So I've been using the iPhone 17 Pro Max for about 2 weeks now as my main phone, no backup phone, no let me switch back to one old comfort smartphone. And as someone who still owns the 16 Pro Max and the 16 Pro, I think I've seen enough to tell you straight up whether you should upgrade or if Apple is just playing us again this year. So, is the iPhone 17 Pro Max really that big of a deal or just another tiny refresh with a new paint job? I'm going to help you find out, and so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. Let's start with what everyone notices first, and that's the design. This is the first time since iPhone 10, that should be 2017 I think, that an iPhone actually looks refreshed. And honestly, that's part of why people are going crazy about this device. The back now has this two-tone look, and this glass section beneath the camera island, which they call the camera plateau, and this exists for wireless charging, but it gives this phone a more dynamic vibe. Unlike this old design we've had for a while with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, personally I kinda like this refresh, but I know a lot of people still prefer the cleaner look on this older device. It's simpler, and a lot of people like this 16 Pro Max. So what camp are you on, the refreshed design or the older design? Now the material has also changed. Apple swapped the titanium for aluminum this year, and that's after a whole hype around the titanium last year and the year before. It feels a little heavier on the 17 Pro Max, but they claim it helps with the heat dissipation. And while they did taper the corners on the 17 Pro Max, it's more comfortable to hold this phone naked. Once you start the case on this 17 Pro Max, that ergonomic magic disappears. Ironically, I think the 16 Pro Max feels better in the hand with the case on, and the 17 feels nicer without the case on. Oh, and the speakers. It's slightly better on the 17 Pro Max, a bit louder, a bit clearer, but Samsung's S25 Ultra still takes the crown for me. There's also this ceramic shield too on the display, which Apple says is more scratch resistant. I can't say yet. My 17 Pro still looks brand new, so give it a few months so we can find out if it's actually that scratch resistant. Now that reminds me of the 16 Pro Max. When I got it, I almost immediately got a scratch on this display, and I'm yet to get same on the 17 Pro Max. Speaking of displays, you definitely would notice something new. Apple finally added an anti-reflective coating for the 17 Pro Max, something Samsung has done for years, about 2 years at this point. So outdoor visibility is better on the 17 Pro Max than the 16 Pro Max, though it's still not as crazy good as what you get on the Samsung S25 Ultra. That said, if you throw a screen protector on this device, that difference would definitely disappear. So are you going to use the 17 Pro Max without a screen protector or with a screen protector? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I mean, they claim it's more scratch resistant, so you technically can use it without a screen protector. Brightness is where the 17 Pro Max really shines, like literally. We're now looking at 3000 nits at peak brightness, up from 2000 nits last year on the 16 Pro Max. And the HDR content pops beautifully on the 17 Pro Max because of this brighter display. And that's about the difference for displays on these devices. Both are still 6.9 inches with dynamic islands and the whole ProMotion 120Hz refresh rate. Now let's talk about the power. The A18 Pro versus the A19 Pro. On paper, it's the usual Apple thing, better performance, more efficiency. But in real life, the biggest thing I noticed was cooling for day-to-day use. Now the A19 Pro is more powerful, about 20% more or so. And also, does the battery life on the 17 Pro Max last longer? Of course it does, and thanks to the bigger battery and the more efficient chipsets. For regular day-to-day use and activities, they feel about the same. When shooting my camera comparison outdoors with these devices, the 16 Pro Max heated up much faster than the 17 Pro Max. So yeah, Apple's new thermal management seems to be doing a great job this year. But everything else, like scrolling, multitasking, editing, all felt the same with this device. But then again, both smartphones are already overkill for most people. They're pretty much good. Since we're talking about the battery life, let's get that out of the way. And this part really did impress me. Charging speeds have improved this year, and you can go from 0 to 50% in 20 minutes on the 17 Pro Max versus around 25 minutes from the 16 Pro Max. That's roughly 40 watts of charge versus 27 watts for wired charging. I average around 36 watts on the 17 Pro Max for my tests, and when it comes to wireless charging, that also got a bump from 15 watts to 25 watts on the 17 Pro Max. The battery life on the 17 Pro Max is genuinely better. I don't even think about battery life anymore. Like even on heavy days, shooting, scrolling, I'm ending the day with more juice on this device. Now here's something cool about the 17 Pro Max. The eSIM variant on this smartphone packs a slightly larger battery. Also, the eSIM variant I have on the 17 Pro Max here has 5088 mAh versus 4685 on the 16 Pro Max. And that's about an 8 to 9% boost on the newer device. Pair that with the more efficient chip and you have a wonderful device to work with. Now this is the best you'd get on an iPhone today. Now this is where things get interesting. Let's start with the front cameras. Apple upgraded it from 12 megapixels on the 16 to 18 megapixels on the 17 Pro Max, and it now supports center stage. Now this lets you take landscape photos or videos while the phone is in portrait mode. That's something no other phone is doing right now, and it's actually pretty handy for group selfies and your vlogs. For the zoom lens, it's now 48 megapixels at 4x optical zoom versus 12 megapixels at 5x on the 16 Pro Max. So you're losing a bit of optical range by getting more details thanks to the 48 megapixel sensor. And you can now zoom digitally up to 40x compared to 25x before. I also noticed that the zoom in photos are actually better on the 17 Pro Max, slightly better actually. When we get to the main cameras, we're talking about a 48 megapixel, which is the same on the other device, same story, but in side-by-side shots, I occasionally notice better dynamic range and also warmer tones on the 17 Pro Max. Sometimes though, the 16 Pro Max just nailed the shots better with more consistent colors, which I sometimes noticed on the 17 Pro Max. Yes, I did notice a slight purple cast on the 17 Pro Max in certain lighting conditions. Not a deal breaker, but definitely there. For the skin tones, I'd say the 17 handles them a bit better, especially under natural light. But there's a hint of automatic skin smoothing going on that I wish Apple could let us toggle off. Moving over to low light shots, honestly, both are great. Sometimes the 17 is a bit brighter, sometimes the 16 handles white balance better. The ultra-wide cameras are practically the same, maybe a touch less tint on the 16. Both ultra-wide tend to follow in the direction of their main cameras, and I love that. So before we wrap up the cameras, there's dual capture, a brand new feature on the 17 Pro Max, and it lets you record using the front and the rear cameras at the same time. That's actually perfect for creators. Imagine vlogging your reaction while filming what you're looking at, all natively. Videos are about the same for both of these devices. I did notice the same colors as the photos spill onto the videos. Now the difference for the rear cameras are not that far. They have their styles, but where the front camera wins for the 17 Pro Max aside the color temperature and the balance would be the ability to do landscape shots while holding in portrait mode. The 17 Pro Max just beats the 16 Pro Max hands down here. Overall, the camera improvements are more refinements than revolutions, except for the front camera. You'll notice them, but they are not going to be life-changing. So after 2 weeks, what do I really think about the 17 Pro Max from the 16 Pro Max? First off, these devices start at the same price, $1,200. Of course, the 17 Pro Max is replacing that price point right now. And with that out of the way, if you already own the 16 Pro Max, the only real reasons to upgrade would be the better selfie camera, the bigger, longer lasting battery. Now the new design is cool, sure, but not enough to justify dropping nearly $2,000 if you're pushing for the top storage configuration. The new chip here is nice, but you won't really feel it for day-to-day use. The back cameras, unless you really are picky about your dynamic range or color tones, it's not a huge leap. But if you're coming from something older, say the 14 Pro Max or the 15, then the 17 Pro Max feels like a genuine step forward. It's more refined, it looks fresh, it charges faster and lasts longer. As for me, I'll of course be going with the 17 Pro Max as there's enough reason for me to want to upgrade, but would you upgrade from the 16 Pro Max if you already own this device or just sit this one out? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below, after which you can go check out where I compared the 17 Pro Max with the S25 Ultra here. The results will really shock you. Catch you in that video. Cuidate.